Good morning. I am Ginger Yoder, and I'm the Director of Family Ministries, and I'll be your celebrant this morning. I'd like to extend a special welcome to all those who are joining us for the first time. We're very glad that you are here. If you've come in person, you should have received a welcome packet with an information card on it. If you fill that out and drop it in our offering basket, we'll be in touch to support you in finding your way into our community. If you're joining us online, there's a link on our website to an electronic version of the same card. Our welcoming committee members have yellow name tags and can answer any questions to point you to additional information. Will you raise your hand? Whether you are new or not, please consider staying for coffee hour and conversation in the service, either downstairs in our fellowship hall or in our Zoom room. Now, let's say our words of welcome together. Whether this is your first or 1,000th Sunday with us, and whether you strolled, rolled, zoomed, ran, or danced in, we're glad you chose to join us. We are one people of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders. All are welcome here. Thank you. Now we're going to take a moment to say hello across the technical divide. First, we're going to show the people joining us on Zoom. If you are at home, I'm sorry, please turn on your camera. Now people at home wave. Now, people who are attending the service in our building, it's your turn to wave. And I believe we have at least one announcement from Sam.
Yes. That's kind of part of the announcement. So some of you may remember, nearly 1 year ago, our very first service in this building was the flower ceremony. But we had to push it into like mid-June. So it's not technically a year yet, but it's kind of our church year, and I think that's awesome. So that being said, I would like to start training as many people as I can to use all of the wonderful audiovisual gear that we have. So if you would like to learn, I would love to teach you. Now, whenever I ask someone, would you like to learn how to run sound or how to do the videos, they always say, that sounds great, but I don't want anyone to ask me to do it in a service. That's totally fine, nothing to fear. I just want as many people to know how to do it as possible, and I promise you I will not ask you to run a service all by yourself, ever. So if that's an incentive, you can either email me at sam.welsh@palouseu.org, and if you can't remember that, music.director@palouseu.org, or just find me after the service. So thanks.
Thank you, Sam. And the flower ceremony is like one of my favorites, so it's kind of fitting that it's our year-ish anniversary. We preface this service by acknowledging that our church was built on the ancestral homelands of the Nimipu, called the Nez Perce by the French-speaking traders, the Palouse, and the Shishut, called the Coeur d'Alene. Let us pause and remember that we live on ground that is sacred, ground that was stolen, ground that cries out for justice and for responsible stewardship. May our remembering help us find the courage to do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. We are hoping that folks joining us by Zoom have a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let us light all of our chalices together. Chalice. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share. Thank you. Please be seated. So good morning, everyone. As Ginger mentioned, today is our annual flower ceremony, and it's a special one because not only is it the 1-year anniversary-ish of our coming back into our building, but it's the 100th anniversary of the very first flower ceremony led by Reverend Norbert Čapek in Prague, Czechoslovakia. So in honor of that anniversary, the UUA commissioned a cantata, a blend of words and music, and that's what we will be sharing with you this morning. So children are invited to stay in the service this Sunday so that you can participate. We have special materials in our busy bags. You all know about the busy bags? We have special flower-related materials in our busy bags, so if you'd like one, they're just outside the door. Our opening words are penned by one of the authors of the cantata, the Reverend Suzelle Lynch. 100 years ago, the Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship in Prague, Czechoslovakia, was the community of their dreams. The Prague Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship was founded by the Reverend Dr. Norbert Čapek and his wife Maya. Dr. Čapek, a brilliant writer and preacher, avid singer, and eager student, was born into his mother's Catholic faith in Bohemia, and grew up in a home flavored by his father's history with the Moravian Brethren. As an adult, Čapek grew more religiously liberal with each passing year. He left Bohemia under government threat and accepted a call to serve a Baptist church in New York City until one day in 1919. That day he wrote in his diary, "I cannot be a Baptist anymore, even in compromise. The fire of new desires, new worlds is burning inside me." In 1921, inspired and empowered by connections he made with the Americans of Czechoslovakia to build the new religious movement they dreamed of, he moved back home. That religious movement caught fire in a nation alive with freedom and longing for change. The Prague congregation's liberating message and vibrant music drew thousands of people to worship. Yet something was missing. A new ritual was needed to unite the diverse and eager crowds. Reverend Čapek asked each congregation member to bring a flower to church from their garden, a field, or the roadside. Gathered in one vase, their combined beauty was dazzling, yet each blossom retained its uniqueness. And then, as Čapek wrote, when they go home, each person is to take one flower just as it comes, without making any distinction where it came from and whom it represents, to confess that we accept each other without regard to class, race, or other distinction, acknowledging everybody as our friend. This compelling ritual of individual free will, celebrating the beauty of diversity and the power of unity, was held for the first time on the anniversary of the Prague Fellowship's founding, June 24th, 1923. It became known as the Flower Ceremony, or Flower Communion, and the Prague Fellowship celebrated it annually as they continued to grow and thrive. Our first song, "You Bring an Aster," is a hymn that brings to life the messages and meanings of the flower ceremony with a simple, upbeat melody. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit and go ahead and join in as best you can.
Symbols of friendship, give speech to just a moment, we're going to ask the children to come and collect any well, actually, why don't we just go ahead and do that?
Isn't it time for outreach?
We've
Changed that.
followed the script.
It says opening hymn and then TFA.
Right, so you want to do that part? Is that what you're saying? No, we've got to collect the flowers first.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do this part? No. Okay, all right, okay. All right. It does. We have the little thing. Okay, so did anyone bring a flower? Okay, can I ask the children to go and collect the flowers? No. Collect the flowers from the people in the congregation. Okay, your job is to collect the flowers from the people in the congregation and bring them forward, and then Martha and I will help you put them in the vases.
And Dwayne and Janet are going to play.
Okay. So bring them up forward. You can bring them. Thank you. Okay, you got me all flustered too and confused too. We're supposed to do that little meditation moment. It's all good. So that piece that Dwayne and Janet just played is called Le Petit Fleur, which means the little flower. Thank you. It was wonderful. So what I'm going to invite us to do next is use our imagination. So I want you to imagine, bring to mind your favorite flower. Your favorite flower. You might want to close your eyes. And this should work whether you're here in person or online. Imagine your favorite flower. Is it in bud or is it in full bloom? Does it smell nice? Is the scent heavy or sweet or crisp and leafy? Is this flower soft? A lot of flowers have little hairs on them. Some flowers have thorns on them. Now this is the important part. In what ways does your favorite flower remind you of you? Or, what are the things that make you special? What are your strengths? What is your special superpower? At this church, we believe that every person is beautiful and every person is unique. So let your favorite flower be a symbol of the gifts you bring to the world, the light inside of you that needs to shine. We celebrate the flower ceremony each year because we love the way it brings Earth's colorful beauty into our midst. It reminds us of the power of working together despite all the forces that conspire to divide us. We love to observe each other's faces as we choose a flower, especially the faces of children. We remember that just as each flower is unique, so is each person's life unique and worthy. Together, the flowers form a bouquet that would not be as beautiful if even one flower were left out. We know that is how it is with our community, too. Each and every one of us is part of our community's beauty and purpose. Each and every one of us is valued and respected. The flower ceremony also reminds us that we can and we must work to shift our world toward greater peace, equity, sustainability, and justice. That we can and we must help liberate others. So now the children are going to sing us a song to help us remember that our unique gifts, no matter how small, are precious and necessary. And while the children come forward, the children's choir comes forward, I'm just going to remind the adults that the children have worked really, really hard on this. So this is a familiar song, and you might be tempted to sing along. Don't.
I was so excited to get to that I tried to rush Elizabeth through the whole thing. So thank you for keeping me on track and the grace that is always offered at this church. Now let's take a moment to engage in the practice of generosity together. For those of you who are able to make a financial contribution, the logistics are on your screen. We typically give away all of the cash from our Sunday offering to a local charity whose missions align with our values, a program that is called the Month of Sundays.
Mary Jo, I can't find it fast enough.
Weekend food for kids.
Weekend food for kids.
Of
Okay.
course, our Sunday offering this month is the Weekend Food for Kids. Yes.
Mary Jo, people can't hear you.
Here, come up and tell us about Weekend Food for Kids while we drop our offering baskets off. No, we need to hear.
About this, I believe it's our fifth year of doing this. This is a local charity that comes out of our church. We do this in partnership with the Episcopal Church, St. Mark's. Every summer, during the months of school, that the school is out, we hand out every Friday bags of food for kids that live in food scarce homes, and without the programs that the school has for getting food to these kids, they really suffer in the summer. So we serve about 150 kids every week for 11 or 12 weeks during the summer. Any money that we collect this month will go for paying for food, and it's all volunteers that do the work. So we really would appreciate your money because we really want to help these kids.
If you're donating online, please indicate that the month of Sundays on your check or the online drop-down menu. As the offering is gratefully received, we'll hear a song called Chapek's Journey. Unitarian Universalism is a living faith tradition meant to grow and change with the wisdom and knowledge of our congregation's members. We come to this faith from many places. Some of us without formal religious training, some after years spent with other religious paths and practices. Norbert Chapek brought a rich life of religious scholarship and service to the Unitarianism of his time. Our next song, Chapek's Journey,
We hear this heartfelt search for faith of integrity that could also serve the needs of his people. Listen for the compelling refrain. Something didn't feel right in my head or my heart. I knew that reason and love are the only place to start. In the spirit of love and for the continuing work of this church, we will now take time to practice in generosity and listen to this song together.
The rituals, as an altar boy loved to play my part. The mysteries of religion, my passion, love of learning was deep in my heart. As I learned, I questioned, the priests were not the saints I expected. For myself what to believe. The Catholic Church shut down questions, so I knew it was time to leave. The brethren my father embraced believed in a religion of deeds, reform and peaceful resistance to intolerant rigid creed. Something didn't feel right in my head or in my heart. I knew that reason and love are the only place to start.
Let's enter now into a time of meditation with a little piece from our own history in this congregation, a poem about flower communion written by Lynn Unger, my predecessor. What a gathering, the purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupin, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There's nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like, this vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight. Purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone.
I just want to... Let's try that. Okay. Sorry, everyone. See, it's just like a year ago. I just wanted to take a second to introduce this next piece that we're playing for you, because it's not technically part of the cantata, but it's one with a history for us. This was written by our former director, Paul Thompson, and he did this as part of the pandemic. So he took a traditional Irish text and then did his own arrangement, and that's the one that we're going to perform for you today. So the previous times you've heard this, it would have been the virtual choir that we did during the pandemic. So this is really the debut for a live choir. But I also wanted to say we had a service maybe 2 years ago where we invited people to share their favorite hymns. And Chuck Harris, who many of you might remember, was a longtime choir member who passed away recently. And this was what he chose as his favorite hymn. So we'll be thinking of Chuck as we perform it for you today.
And we'll be singing this at his memorial service.
Yes. Wait, one second. Say that again.
And we'll be singing it at his memorial service, which is next Saturday at 1:30 p.m.
Your days and mourn your
World War II brought great troubles to Czechoslovakia. And in 1939, Maya Čapek came to the United States to raise funds to help war refugees. She brought the flower ceremony with her to the Unitarian Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and soon the tradition spread to congregations around the country. Norbert Čapek stayed behind in Czechoslovakia to help his people, but the Nazis found his message dangerous and arrested him for treason in 1941. He was sent to Dresden prison and then to the concentration camp at Dachau. Čapek kept his spirit strong by sharing his poetry, music, and the flower ceremony with other inmates, but the Nazis put him to death a year later. The words and melody of hymn number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, in the UU hymnal singing the living tradition, were written by Norbert Čapek, translated into English and adapted into the familiar song with its questions and images of earth's beauty. Čapek's hymns tell us that he felt the spirit of life and love with him always. And in this new song, a voice of the Spirit answers each question, journeying with Čapek and with all of us. Because the spirit of life and love is expansive, not limited by gender, the language has been updated. We invite you to listen for the diverse divine voices that sing, "You are my beloved." We're almost to the end of our service. It's time for the second part of our flower communion. For those of you who are here in person, what we're going to do is we're going to form 2 lines, one in each aisle. When you get to the front of the line, please don't take a flower for yourself. Pick a flower and hand it to the person opposite you. Look in their eyes, connect heart to heart, and give it to them as a gift. In this church, everyone gives and everyone receives communion. Those of you who are joining us from home, please enjoy the music and the spectacle of the flower exchange. And if you wish, you might also type words of encouragement, praise, gratitude, or hope in the chat for your fellow online friends to enjoy. And while we do this, we'll have special music from Diane and Sam, and then from Dwayne and Janet. So please go ahead, rise, and form 2 lines. To be one is to be in covenant with one another, supporting each other in our free and ever-changing community of faith and action. Our closing hymn, We Are One, references our history, affirms our present, and invites us all, siblings and strangers, cousins and neighbors, into a bold future that centers love. I invite you to rise and bow to your spirit, or is the choir doing this one?
No,
We're all doing this one.
Everybody sing, please.
We are one, we are free, we are here. Much has changed in the 100 years since the first flower ceremony, but our commitment to the values it embodies grows ever stronger as we continue to shape a faith that fiercely and gently calls forth beauty and kinship in easy times and in times of challenge. As we Unitarian Universalists work to dismantle our culture of oppression and exclusion, learn to truly embrace a multiplicity of cultural worldviews, and shift our historical center to follow powerful new leadership by those whose voices have been suppressed, we make real the bold vision of Norbert and Maya Chapek and the flower ceremony. Their spirit, courage, and commitment live on in us. May we ever remember our continuity with those who struggled, generation after generation, for peace and justice and liberty. As we share our flowers, may we always remember the abiding beauty that calls us together and calls us to ever greater justice and ever greater love. Let's sing together now, There Is a Love. And I understand we're going to do that a cappella in a round.
Yeah. So part one, raise your hand. Part one.
So, 3 parts?
Just 2.
Just 2 parts, okay. So, part 1, part 2. Part 1, part 2.
Okay. Ready, and.
Please join me now in the words to extinguish our chalice. Could somebody do that for me? Thanks, Sam. We extinguish this chalice that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our paths as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. May you go forth knowing that you are beautiful in your uniqueness. May you embrace your special superpower. And may you embrace everyone you meet as equally precious, equally beautiful, equally sacred. Join us for coffee downstairs. Go in peace. Oh, there's a plant sale too. Mother's Day plant sale is back. Woohoo! Go in peace. Come back next week.